Hey everybody, I hope you are proud of me. End of chapter 21. We are only doing one chapter today, but it's a beautiful day outside and I just want to go back to my hammock and read more of this book. So this is going to be pretty fast and probably a little disorganized because I didn't take notes before starting. Beginning of chapter 1, we have the rare occurrence where we actually get a discussion between two of the leading characters about the situation and what they are going to do. We have it between Perrin and Quickben. It's kind of a throwback to Gardens of the Moon. They have literally a talk of like, okay, so what's going on? What are the powers assembled? And we even at times get lists from Perrin of, yeah, I can sense these as Master of Death. Yeah, Kilimandros is over there. Yeah, but then we got Draconis and we got the Otaro Dragon. Like he goes through all of the powers that are converging, and a beautiful sort of bookend to, again, Gardens of the Moon. We see another convergence. This one is much larger, full of elder gods and dragons and soul taken and ascendants and gods, and everything is coming together in this area, in this conflict between the Forkful Assail and the Bone Hunters, and then of course all of the arrayed allies. I love that. I love that we see Kalam now back and in action. He is again the badass assassin, killing the Forkful Assail, and he talks it up to Manala, which is really cool. And I like their relationship, that it's sort of continued on in the background while all of this has happened. And we do find out why Kalam is here. Perrin does say that he asked Shadow Throne for him, and Quickben was the one who delivered him. And so that's why they are now with the Host, which is now the name of Ganos Perrin's new army. And I love that that is obviously going to be a grand story that we don't know about. Maybe Ian Esselmont's going to write a book about it. Maybe Erickson will get back to it. Or it'll just be one of the many stories that happens in the background of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I think that's possible. I think it's also possible that Ganos Perrin actually survives, and so he is actually not one of the Fallen. We get a lot of talk about the Book of the Fallen actually being used explicitly in this book, and so I think that might be a hint. That's why we haven't followed him as closely in this latter half, because he might survive and the Host might survive, and they might be the ones that go back to the Malazan Empire. I don't know, that's speculation, who knows. Getting back to the chapter, we're not going back yet to the Bone Hunters, who finally have water. I think they're going to be resting. We do see the Kachain Shamal catch up with the Grey Helms, and there's tension there. Setok is established under control, and Tanakalian is still trying to sort of weasel his way into fighting with the Forkful Assail, but all of this is sort of muddy with them because they're so devoted to these Wolves of Winter. Setok obviously is like imbued with them. Almost, again, as I'm talking, there's so many callbacks to Gardens of the Moon, a young girl who is inhabited by a god. The Wolves of Winter are just sort of, they are beasts, and so they are representing sort of the wild, but that also makes them, well, wild and unpredictable and not knowing exactly what's going to happen. And they have sort of a longer look about this whole thing. Like, if whatever side wins, the wild is still going to be there. And so it's interesting. I don't know what the wolves are going to do, and I think this is going to have an unforeseen consequence by anyone currently. So I'm very interested to see where that goes. And then I need to mention the end of chapter 21 is one of the most touching scenes. When we get the messenger from Tehol, who through Bug has sent another army to help with the efforts he's heard through, I'm sure, Bug. But he says, I'm sending you all my love. And it's kind of a silly thing in the midst of, a Tehol-like message, and it's a very comedic moment. And then we draw back from that scene, and Briss is, like, destroyed by it, and we're a little confused. And then we go into his psyche that, like, this was Tehol's way of saying goodbye in the most tender way possible. And Briss says he loves him, and he misses him, and he'd like to see him again, but he doesn't think he will. It is just a beautiful moment that breaks your heart. These two characters that are often so silly with each other, but there's a love behind it, and now we finally get that love saying it explicitly, is touching. We don't get a lot of familial love in this book, a lot of familial tension. Obviously Tavor and Perrin, but also even like Stormy and Gessler, like there's a lot of tension between people who love each other. There's not a lot of just bare tenderness, and that's what this is between two men that we really root for and love in this series. So a great moment, and like I said, I want to read more, so I'm going to stop there. Leave your thoughts of chapter 21 in the Crippled God in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys, and first in, last out.